ಕೂಡ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಅಂದರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಾನು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈಗ SSLC ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನನ್ನು ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ಆದ AB ಕಟ್ಟಿಮನಿ ಸರ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವಿ ಮಹಾಲಿಂಗಯ್ಯ, ಈ ಇಬ್ರು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಈಗ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಏನು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಸೊ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅನಿಸ್ತದೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನಾನು ಫೇಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸೊ ನನ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಐಡಿಯಾನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೀ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಸಜೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್, ಈ ಏನ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನಾನು ಜೊತೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಥವಾ ಏನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, this is completely, the information is completely shared by the state resource person. So first of all ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಫಾಲೋಡ್ ಬೈ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಸುರೇಶ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಸರ್ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಸಾಥ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, SSLC ಒಂದು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಪೂರ್ವ ತಯಾರಿ ಹೇಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರೀ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಹೇಗಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಂತ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ 3 ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್, ಫಾಲೋಡ್ ಬೈ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾಲೋಡ್ ಬೈ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ 3 ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೇಪರ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹೌದಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಟೋಟಲಿ 38 ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಟೋಟಲಿ 38 ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. 3 ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ನ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು 888-941 ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 888 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ 8 ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, 8 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂಡ್ 8 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, 9 3 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, 4 4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂಡ್ 1 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ is been said by the state resource person. Next ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೂ ಮುಂಚೆ ಯು ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಎಂಡ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. 888-941 ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 8 ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್, 8 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್, 8 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್, 9 3 ಮಾರ್ಕ್, 4 4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್, ಅಂಡ್ 1 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಅನ್ ಅಬೋವ್ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಅ ಬಿಲೋ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೋಟಲಿ 27 to 30 ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ ಆರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್? ಟೋಟಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 27 to 30 ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ 3 ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಯಾಲಜಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಈ ವರ್ಷದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫೈನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಟೋಟಲಿ 12 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್, ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ 100% ನಿಮಗೆ 12 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೂ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಜನರಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಈಗ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಪೇಜ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ 1.6, ಸೊ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ 1.6, 12.2, 12.6, 12.7, 13.6a, 13.15, 13.19, 10.7, 10.6, 10.7, 11.2, 11.3, 14.4, and 2.1, 2.3, 3.3, 3.8 and 3.12. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನೇ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು 100% ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಐ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ. ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಫಾಲೋಡ್ ಬೈ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ, ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲದರಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರು ಏನೇನು ಸಜೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅಂತ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಶೇರ್ ಯು. See what all the things they have said related to chemistry. First of all, they told learn all the chemical equations. How do you learn chemical equations? By repeated revising method. You have to learn all the chemical equations by repeatedly revising method, because most of you don't know chemical equations. So those who have known, well and good. Yarige gottilla, those who don't know chemical equations, you need to repeatedly practice the chemical equations by revising method. Okay, that has been one point our ಹೇಳಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. Next, ನಿಮಗೆ chemical reactions and equations. When we start this lesson, you want to cover all the 4 types of chemical reactions: combination, decomposition, displacement and double displacement. So ಈ 4ರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಗೆ ಬರಬಹುದು ಅಂತ they have told. So you need to cover all these chemical reactions from first lesson. Next, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನೇನು ಇರಬಹುದು ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದೀಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕವರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು. ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸೋಥರ್ಮಿಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಂಡೋಥರ್ಮಿಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸೋಥರ್ಮಿಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಂಡೋಥರ್ಮಿಕ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆಡಿಬಲ್, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆಡಿಬಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸೋಥರ್ಮಿಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಂಡೋಥರ್ಮಿಕ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಟು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರಬಹುದು. ಸಿ ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಕಾಪರ್ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡೆಡ್ ಯು ಅ ವೈಟ್ ಕಲರ್ ಕಾಪರ್ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್, ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ, ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಅವರು ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅನಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಕಾಪರ್ ಸಲ್ಫೇಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೆರೋಸಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, see it also contains some amount of the water in it. Alcohol anta helತೀವಿ, ethanol ಅಲ್ಲಿ water ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, so when we drop the white color copper sulfate, it will change its color to blue. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಅನಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ನ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಿರೋದು ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸಿ ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್. ಯು ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲರ್ನ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್. ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಇಕ್ವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಟರಿ ಪೇಪರ್, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ what happens when water is added to calcium oxide anta kelidru. So there they have given 4 options. So what type of reaction is this anta kelidru. So you want to also learn to identify the type of chemical reactions by looking into their equations. Okay, that is very important. So next you also have to know that, so most of the students don't know that decomposition reactions are endothermic, because as we have decomposition reactions, under decomposition reaction we have thermal decomposition and electrolytic and photolytic decomposition. So most of the students think that the thermal decomposition is an example for exothermic, but not. Thermal decomposition reaction mandu, it is an example for endothermic, not for the exothermic. So you want to know about this, idr ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. And next ಬಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ they are telling about in acids, bases and salts ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, which all the concepts that you cover in the acids, bases and salts ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ. So you need to cover about the salts part. Basically salts part ಇಂದ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, 99% ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So the important salts that you have to focus are, one is the bleaching powder, second one is the washing soda, plaster of Paris and baking soda. So you want to focus on these particular salts, because 90% you can expect these. You can expect these salts, chemical formula and their uses in the examination. Okay, 90% you can expect from this. Next, basically the state resource person also told you to focus on the chloralkali process. Based on the chloralkali process also, all these years they have asked questions in the examination. So you can also expect the questions in the upcoming examination based on the chloralkali process. You must know what are the products released during the chloralkali process, and which gas is released at anode, which gas is released at cathode, and name the products, uses of the products released during the chloralkali process. So all these things you have to understand. Okay, next they told you to focus on the characteristics of acids as well as bases. Okay, that is the one point. Next, they also told you to focus on give reason questions, like say for example, why toothpaste is basic in nature. Okay, or why do we add soda to milk? Why do you add soda to milk? Okay, you have to think about these kind of the questions. And basically you want to focus on the pH values. pH value ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. See, what are the points I'm telling right now? You want to make it a note. Okay, in a short time I'm also trying to make the fair copy of these points, and I also give you this to study for you. Okay, those who are feeling science as a difficult subject, so it is very useful for those students. Okay, so all these things are regarding to acids, bases and salts. So now when we talk about metals and non-metals, so our state resource person has told that you have to know about the properties of metals and non-metals, and also you will get two diagrams in metals and non-metals. You'll get two diagrams. Okay, so out of two diagrams, one diagram will be compulsory asked in the examination, they told you. And you want to focus on ionic bond and covalent bond difference between the ionic bond and covalent bond, and what are the properties of ionic bond, idr ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Okay, and you want to know basically about the electron dot structure of the ionic bond. Electron dot structure ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So these are the points that basically you have to cover. It is not that if you study only so much you get 80 out of 80. If you are feeling science as a difficult subject, if you focus on these concepts, definitely you can score minimum 40 marks. Okay, this is especially these programs are being conducted for the students who are feeling science as a difficult subject. Okay, so this points, if the students have already, the students that is have completed already the entire syllabus, just focus on it, that these concepts will be asked in the examination. Okay, so now moving to that, ionic compounds, covalent compounds, and in this lesson they can also ask about the property, that is not properties, give reasons. Ionic compounds have high melting point, give reason. And ionic compounds are not soluble in the petrol and diesel and kerosene, what is the reason? Okay, ionic compounds do not conduct electricity in the solid state. So these kind of give reasons questions can be asked anta they were discussing in the Akashvani program. So this video why I'm doing is because most of the things they said in Kannada only. Okay, in the Akashvani program most of the things they said in Kannada only, so you guys feel difficult to understand those things. That is why I'm just translating it in English. Okay, so these are some of the points. Okay, when we look into next metals and non-metals, some more important points that you have to focus are, you should know the definition, important definitions, like what is meant by gang, what is meant by calcination, what is meant by roasting, what is meant by thermit process. These are the important definitions that you have to focus. Okay, next you want to know how are the metals extracted based on the reactivity series. That means some metals come in the low reactivity series, some come in the high reactivity series, some come in the middle reactivity series. How are these metals extracted? You have to know about it. If you don't know, do attend tomorrow morning live session at 5:30. Tomorrow I'm starting metals and non-metals lesson. Okay, yes sir. So next you also have to focus on the methods which is being used to prevent the corrosion. This concept is you have to focus, and you also have to focus about what is meant by galvanization, and you also have to ignore ಏನೇನು ಓದಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ you can ignore do you know box ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So that kind of boxes can be ignored. Understand, that kind of box can be ignored. Okay, because they won't ask in the examination do you know box or extra information. They don't ask, they ask about the activities or activity based question. Okay, so that is the one thing. So when we talk about now carbon and its compounds, what are the important concepts that you have to study? So state resource person said that you want to focus on catenation and tetravalency, these concepts. You must focus on catenation and tetravalency concept. You must focus on saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons concept. Basically, some exam question paper preparation have more love on the concept called isomerism. So isomerism concept you have to focus, and usually they ask about isomerism, homologous series, and what is meant by substitution reaction, hydrogenation reaction, addition reaction. Okay, these concepts are very favorite for the paper, that is the one who prepare the exam paper. So you have to know about this. You have to know about this. Clear ala? So these were some things which has been said at the initial stage of carbon and its compounds. And state research person also told about that you have to give more importance for esterification reaction. You must study about esterification reaction. You must know about the difference between soaps and detergents. And compulsorily you have to learn about the electron dot structures of benzene, ethane, ethene, ethyne, cyclohexane, and also cyclopropane. This is compulsory. Okay, electron dot structures of these compounds you must learn. I repeat once again, benzene, ethane, ethene, ethyne, cyclohexane, and cyclopropane. These compounds electron dot structure you must compulsory learn. You must learn compulsorily. Okay. So and you also have to know how many covalent bonds are present between hydrocarbon atoms. Say for example, they gave methane, they gave ethene, any compound they give. So you have to identify how many covalent bonds are present between these that is hydrocarbons. That is one concept. Tilkoli covalent bond find out ಮಾಡೋದು you have to learn. Next, you have to also learn how many single bonds are there, how many double bonds are there between the hydrocarbons. Or if they give any functional groups, you want to identify how many single bonds are there, how many double bonds are there. These things you want to identify. Okay, so this is exactly things that you have to learn from carbon and its compounds. Carbon and its compounds ಅಲ್ಲಿ exact ಆಗಿ ಇಷ್ಟು compounds ಇಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನ ನೀವು ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆನಾ? Next one, you have to focus. What are the things that you have to focus from the periodic classification of elements? So today we did periodic classification of elements. See, when I talk about periodic classification of elements, firstly they are telling to learn all the 4 laws. You know what are the 4 laws? Dauber-Eaner law, Newland's law, Mendeleev periodic law, modern periodic law. You want to focus on all these 4 laws. And then you have to know difference between Mendeleev's and modern periodic tables or modern periodic law. You must know about this. In examination, they can ask you, what is the difference between the Mendeleev periodic law and the modern periodic law? Okay. Next, from this lesson, they can ask you about, say for example, they may give some elements. They may give some elements. They may ask you to identify, name the element which is present in 3rd period. Name the element which is present in the 2nd group. These kind of questions they may ask in the examination. Okay. So for next, in this lesson, you must learn how to find the period number and also group number. It's very important. You have to know how to find out the period number and also the group number, and why 18th group is called as the inert group. Why 18th group is called as inert group in the modern periodic table, that you have to focus. And you also basically you have to focus on what is meant by atomic size. What happens to atomic size? Metallic property, non-metallic property. When we move the move from left to right in the periodic table and top to bottom in the periodic table. This much you have to know from the periodic classification of elements. I'm just translating whatever they said in Kannada. Clear ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Fine. Because entirely the program is, most 90% of the program was in Kannada. Okay. So these are some of the things which has been shared by, our state resource person for the chemistry part. So they're telling that this year it is better to go through all the in-text questions and also the exercise questions, because most of the question they may ask from the in-text part and also the exercise part, but not the same direct question. Some part of the question has been modified. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ? So it is very important for chemistry, just go through the model paper, the preparatory paper and previous year question papers, that you get idea. Okay, fine. So, and no need to worry students, no need to worry, not much of applications question will be asked this year. So less than 8 marks, the questions will be from the application level. Okay, 80 marks ge 8 ginta kadme marks. So less than 8 marks you will be having the application level questions. So no need to worry about this year's examination. As our state resource people have discussed, less than 8 marks you will be allotted for the application type questions. Okay, so this is all about the chemistry part, what they have discussed in the program which has been conducted for SSLC examination. So moving to biology part. So when we look at the biology part, so starting from the first lesson, life process, control and coordination, our environment, how do organisms reproduce, heredity and sustainable management. These concepts that you have to give, the concept which you have to focus and study for the examination are. So firstly, you have to know that the biology will be given for 27 marks. So 27 marks biology nalli question irutte. And one more important thing, that 20 marks ge choice irutte. You will be having choice for 20 marks. So 2 mark, 3 mark, 4 mark. In all these sections, you will be having choice. And the state resource person were telling that it is important that students have to attend any one of the choice which he knows better. It is not suggested to attend both the questions. When they gave choice, it is not suggested to attend both the questions. You have to attend either the first question or the second question which you know properly. That is most importantly you have to know. Okay, so 20 marks is allotted for biology. Okay, so when we look at the things that you have to study under life process, this is I'm telling you, to score 40 marks, what are the things that you have to cover. Okay, yes, from life process lesson, So diagrams part ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ you have to learn these compulsory diagrams: stomata, human heart, nephron, digestive system, so called alimentary canal, and excretory system, neuron, nephron, and the longitudinal section of flower, human brain, and also germination of pollen on stigma. These diagrams you have to compulsorily learn. Okay, compulsory you have to learn. Students, 12 marks is already in your pocket. 12 marks is already in your pocket. How? Because by learning all the diagrams you can easily score 12 marks. Before going to exam only you have to analyze that I already got 12 marks in my examination. Because you know the diagrams, you already got 12 marks. Okay, focus on that. Next, see, in biology there are 9 diagrams. All the 9 diagrams you have to learn. So, and also you have to focus on the diagram based questions. Sometimes some diagrams may not be asked. Say for example, sometimes excretory system is not been asked. It is not so compulsory. Okay, so that time what happened, they may give excretory system and they can ask you by labeling one part, what is the function of this particular part. Say for example, they will label the ureter and they may ask you name the part, name the part and write its function, they may ask. So diagram based questions are also very important. So next, from the life process, what are the things you have to learn here is, you have to learn all the diagrams first, as I said you. What is photosynthesis? Events occur during the photosynthesis. 100% you have to learn this. What is photosynthesis? Events occur during the photosynthesis. You have to learn. You have to know role of small intestine in digestion. You have to know role of small intestine in digestion. Role of enzymes in digestion. You have pancreatic enzymes. You have enzymes in the stomach, right? You should know the role of enzymes in the digestion. And in page number 67, you have a flow chart, that is breakdown of glucose into pyruvate. Breakdown of glucose into pyruvate. What happens when glucose is break down into pyruvate? That concept you have to learn. So there you can get 1 mark question or multiple choice question, whatever you get, or you can also get 3 mark to write the flow chart itself. So it's very important to know. Students, right now I'm not reading your comment. At the end of this video, I will respond for your comments. Okay, just I want to quickly summarize that what are the things that you have to focus with respect to your examination preparation. Okay, so role of enzymes in digestion is important, and what is meant by aerobic respiration and what is meant by anaerobic respiration you might have to know. And transportation in plants, very important concept. You have to learn about transportation in plants, double circulation, and you have to know mainly about lymph. I think you all have seen lymph concept in life process lesson. You should know about the lymph concept. You should learn the structure and the function of the nephron. To describe the structure and function of nephron, you have to learn. So next you have to learn how do plants excrete. And importantly, you have to know the reason that why is, it is important to separate the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Why is it important to separate the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood? So this concept you have to importantly learn. Clear? So later you have to focus on why ventricles have thick walls. So these kind of questions will be asked. So these are some of the things that has been discussed by state resource person related to life process lesson. Okay. So moving to next, from control and coordination lesson, they asked you to learn the neuron structure and function, brain parts and function, and then pathway of reflex arc. In reflex arc, we have the receptor, sensory neuron, central nervous system, motor neuron, and effector. This is the pathway. So what does this every part of this pathway does, that you have to know. And you should know the tropic movement and its types. You should know plant hormones and animal hormones. And some give reasons questions like, why is adrenaline hormone is called as emergency hormone? Why it is always advised to take the iodized salt for the organisms? And such kind of give reasons question will be asked. And why insulin injections are being injected to the patients who are suffering from the diabetes? So these kind of give reasons questions are being asked. Okay, so this is all about control and coordination. And our environment lesson is very simple. From our environment lesson, they ask you to focus on food chain and food web. You have to focus on food chain and food web. And also you should know how to identify the different trophic levels. You should know how to identify the different trophic levels. And in this lesson, you have to know which trophic level has the highest chemicals. In recent examination also they have given. In preparatory examination, you all have seen, right? They asked you to arrange the organisms based on the increase in the energy level. Arrange the organisms based on the increase in the toxic substances. So this kind of questions will be asked. So in this lesson they also ask about ozone layer. Okay, they also ask about ozone layer. That means function of ozone layer, formation of ozone layer, depletion of ozone layer. These concepts you have to focus. Okay, I think you all can hear clearly. Can you all hear clearly? Students, can you hear me clearly? I'm not able to find any okay charts. Let me check out. You all can hear me clearly, right? Okay. It's because some students are just dropping the message. We cannot hear you clearly. Fine. Okay, these are some of the important things that you have to focus from our environment lesson. And the role of decomposers is very important. In there, they may ask you the give reason question. Okay, what is the role of decomposers? Give reason anta kelbodu. Next, CFC free refrigerators are eco-friendly anta kelbodu. Give reason. Next, flow of energy is unidirectional. Give reason. So these kind of give reasons are being asked from this lesson. Okay. Fine. Next, they have asked about next we are focusing on how do organisms reproduce. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. So here in how do organisms reproduce, they told you to go through entire asexual mode of reproduction. Entire asexual mode of reproduction ಅನ್ನು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. And you have to know their difference. Okay. So because picture based question ಅನ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. See, asexual mode of reproduction we have binary fission, multiple fission. That is, we have fission, regeneration, fragmentation, spore formation, vegetative propagation. All these things are there, right? So you want to focus on all these things because recent examination also they have given, based on the picture they have given a question. Okay, now. So it is important. So it's very important to know about this. You have to go through all the concepts of asexual mode of reproduction. And you should know the difference between every mode of asexual reproduction. You have to know. And you also have to know about sexual reproduction in plants. So ಈ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತು ನನಗೆ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ದ ಸೀಡ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. Explain the seed and the fruit formation in the flowering plants. So this kind of question can be asked. And you also have to learn the functions of the parts of male and female reproductive system. What happens when egg is not fertilized? What is the role of placenta? What is placenta? You have to know. Contraceptive methods you have to know. And how to avoid the STDs and how are STDs caused. Sexually transmitted diseases, how are these being caused? How you can avoid. About this you have to know. And one important point they have mentioned here is consistency of DNA copying during the reproduction is important. Why? Consistency of DNA copying during the reproduction is important. Why? So ಇದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Clear ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? So next, these are some of the important concepts that you have to focus from how do organisms reproduce. So when I look at now this is a hereditary and evolution lesson. Hereditary and evolution lesson ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು? What are the questions that you can expect ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ you have to focus on this ಅಂತ they particularly told. Okay. So one thing is you can expect checkerboard, monohybrid or dihybrid. You can expect one checkerboard, and you can also you have to learn how to determine the sex of the child. You have to learn how to determine the sex of the child. That is the one thing. And you have to learn what is meant by acquired traits and inherited traits. Acquired traits andre enu, inherited traits andre enu, ee concepts na complete ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Then what are the tools used to estimate the age of fossil? What are the tools which is used in the evolutionary relationship of human beings? So these concepts are important. And you must know, recently they have given this question. How does the evolution takes place with respect to eye? Okay, planarian eye evolution. And also, how does the feathers got evolved? This concept you have to learn anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ basically. Okay, how does the eye evolution takes place in case of planaria? How does the evolution take place in the case of feathers anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Next, they have also asked you to concentrate on developing different vegetables from the cabbage is an artificial selection. Why? Developing different vegetables from the cabbage is called as an artificial selection. Why? So ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಲೆಸನ್ ಹೆರಿಡಿಟರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಕೂಡ ಹೆರಿಡಿಟರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತ ಸಮ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಯು ಟು learn some of the important concepts from sources of, that is sustainable management of natural resources. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ you have to focus on 5 R's compulsory ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 5 R's ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ನೀವು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ reuse, reduce, refuse, recycle, repurpose, these are the 5 R's. 5 R's ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Then you have to know about it. You also have to learn about stakeholders ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Then you have to know the problems caused due to the construction of dams. Problems caused due to the construction of dams you have to know. And then you have to know about the advantages of watershed management, and also you have to know about sustainable management of natural resources is important. Why? Sustainable management of natural resources is important. Why? So this concept can be expected. And then reuse is better than recycle. Recent question paper look at kotidru. Reuse is better than recycle. So you have to know about this concept. And then management of natural resources require long term energy. Why? Management of natural resources requires long term energy. Why? So these two could are related to biology. So this has been said by our state resource person. I think you all are able to hear me clearly because I just set my camera to my phone, not to the system. So I think you are able to hear me clearly. So these are some of the important concepts that you have to focus with respect to biology. This is what been said by the state resource person. Okay. So now that let us focus on the physics part. So physics part ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ physics part ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, see firstly 3 marksಗೆ 1000% ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ರೇ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ 3 marksಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 3 marksಗೆ ಒಂದು ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ರೇ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಕಾನ್ವೆಕ್ಸ್ ಮಿರರ್ ಆರ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾನ್ಕೇವ್ ಮಿರರ್ ಆರ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ 3 marksಗೆ ಒಂದು ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೇ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ರೇ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರೆಯೋದು, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚೆಕ್ ದ ವಿಡಿಯೋ. ಓಕೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಸಿಟಿ ಲೆಸನ್ ಇಂದ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಸಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಮೇನ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಡಿಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಸಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ರೀತಿನೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ದೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್ನ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಫೈನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ಸ್ based on the sums or the problems is from the textbook only. Okay. And you want to concentrate importantly on one sum. 3 marks ke one sum keltare. So it's very important to concentrate. 3 marks ray diagrams, 3 marks sum, 6 marks you can easily get from the physics if you know this too. Next you want to focus on the Ohm's law, ohm meter, resistance, fuse, earthing, and you also have to learn about all the SI units. You want to know about all the SI units. Okay. Yes. So next you can just how can you learn the sums? How can you learn the sums given in the physics anta helodadre, see what you have to do here is the state resource person has said that, see whatever the sums given in your textbook, just change the values and repeatedly you have to work out. Only that is the way that which will help you to find the sums easy in the examination. ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, same values you practice. For physics sums, basically what is given in the textbook, in the same way you practice. So instead of doing the same sums repeatedly practicing, you can change the values. You can change the values of those sums and you can practice. That will help you to get good marks in the examination. Okay. So fine. Next what they told was you want to focus on motor and generator diagram, because every year in the final examination they ask generator diagram or motor diagram. So AC and DC dynamo, solenoid concept is very important, and you want to learn about the Faraday's experiment. You should know the uses of concave mirror and also the convex mirror. You should know the uses of concave mirror and also the convex mirror. So this is what is being discussed by the state resource people. And some anta heldaga they told that 100% you can have a trust on this kind of sum. Even formula basis mele sum irutte anta helidare. That is 1 by u plus 1 by v is equals to 1 by f. ಇದು ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. 1 by u plus 1 by v is equals to 1 by f. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಸಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, 100% ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ some of the questions like again Snell's law is also important, and they also told why sky is blue color, why stars twinkle, why traffic signals has red light, what are the functions of the parts of the eye, what is myopia, what is hypermetropia. So these concepts are very important. So ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸೊ ನಾನು ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿಲಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ದಿಸ್. Okay, so next they also have told about few more aspects that so basically sources of energy nalli you have to focus sources of energy. Just if you go through entirely one lesson about what are the energy conservation which takes place in that lesson, compulsorily you will get answer for you, definitely you will get answer for all the questions if you go through all the concepts of the sources of energy. So these are some of the things that has been discussed by the state resource person in the program. I think I have covered all the concepts which they have been discussed. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಚೆಕ್ ವೆದರ್ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಎನಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್, ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟಿಂದ ನಾನು ಸ್ಕಿಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಚೆಕ್. ಸೊ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸಲ್ಲಂತೂ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲರ್ನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. ಈಗ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇದ್ರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾನು ಒಂದು PDF ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು. ಆಯಿತಾ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದು ತುಂಬ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ಗೆ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ ಇಯರ್ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಏನಂದರೆ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಚಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ, if you are Kannada medium student, go just check out the Akashvani program which has been explained in Kannada. ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ವಕ್ರೀಭವನ ಆ ರೀತಿ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ has been made for you. Okay? Yes. So if you want the Akashvani video for the Kannada medium students, I will share you in the Telegram group. So do check out the video and just come to know that what are some important concepts that you have to learn with respect to your examination preparation. Okay? To score minimum 40 marks. Minimum 40 marks na ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿ 40 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಮೇ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಗೆಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 40 marks. At least students who are feeling difficult, you have to cover this. Okay? So that's all for this video, children. If any updates are there, if any new updates are there, I'll come up in the live and I also will share the topics with you. Thank you so much for being in live. Take care. Okay, some students were asking me some questions. Okay, tell me what is the question? What is your questions? Some students were asking questions. Enadu doubts idya? Okay, read comments ma'am anta helta idra. Okay, let me read out your comments. Okay, tell me what is your doubt? Your doubt is about social? Okay, let me help about it. Okay, Sama saying thank you so much ma'am. Fine. Okay, thank you so much. Fine. Okay, welcome. So much welcome children. You're all welcome. That you have to utilize whatever I'm telling. That is most important. ಸೈನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಕ್ಲಿಯರಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಏನು ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ 5:30 to 7 ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟೇ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಫ್ ಯು ನೋ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎನಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಶೋರ್. If you know the concept, you can answer for any question. And what am I doing in the live in the morning? I'm firstly explaining the concept, followed by what am I doing? I am explaining different type of question based on one concept. Okay na? So nomenclature ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ಸ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟೆಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 3 lessons. I have done with the live process lesson, done with control and coordination and also periodic classification of elements. So next upcoming live sessions nalli whatever concepts are pending I'll cover. Do watch all the videos and get benefit out of it. That's it. Give reasons questions beka. Okay, fine. I'll frame some give reasons and also and I can provide for you. So that can be done. Okay, fine. Anything else? For social you're asking. Okay, fine. So let me check out if anything is possible. I'll do it. Okay, thank you so much for being in live till now students. I don't want to waste your precious time. So whatever you had till now, I think that is going to help you for your final examination preparation. I'll share whatever the contents which I have discussed in the live session now, right in the PDF. I make it in the PDF form and I'll share in the Telegram group. So do read all the concept. If you have skipped any concept, just complete that concept. Okay? Thank you so much for being in live. Have a nice evening.